They confuse the world with the world as they think about it.
Okay, we all want to be lucky. We want to feel that the universe is always watching our backs, no matter what.
Don't be afraid. You're going to make it.
Sometimes we wonder why we work so hard, and yet the other guy who seems to be doing nothing at all is doing better than us. But when we are the ones doing all the chilling, relaxing, and taking days off, nothing seems to work either. And then at some point we go into spirituality, Zen, meditations, numerology, crystals, you name it. We put so much effort into researching all this stuff to figure out why some people get so much success with minimal effort. What is this mysterious thing called luck? What is this flowing with nature thing that kind of sounds great on paper, but when applied in real life, it doesn't really work? I don't call myself a spirituality expert who pretends to understand how everything and reality works. No, I'm that random someone who once in a while gets a random idea in my sleep and thinks I should be making a video about that. And today's idea is trying to figure out how we can work with the universe instead of against it. Alright, this is my theory. You see, the universe is always open and available to us. It's like that open world RPG game where we can walk around exploring the maps, going into the forest, honing our skills, and being someone's apprentice. We can do everything we want, the world is ours, the universe is open. But what happens when we get outside of these video games? Okay, so that's where we are at. The point is, we love, to a certain extent, get addicted to these video games for a reason. Like in a way, we get to live out these cool adventures, but we don't really have to experience the normal human fears and doubts and uncertainties that come with it. Because we are inside a freaking video game character. There's something so peaceful about this little guy. He goes around like he's bigger than whatever life throws at him, and he's having the time of his life. Why can't I be more like him? The answer is simple. This little guy is extremely humble. Just look at him, wearing basically the same clothes every day, doing everything we tell him to. If we say into the forest, there he goes. If we say go take a swim in the middle of nowhere, no questions asked. But that's exactly the problem with us today. Unlike our innocent little hero, we are thinking too much. Oh, I can just jump into a lake and have fun. My clothes will get wet. And if I take them off, what about these other people watching? Just freaking jump. The clothes will dry itself and nobody really cares if you're naked. And oh, he has a much easier life. He lives in the wilderness and of course he will meet that hermit who will teach him all those cool fighting skills. There's no hermit like that in my city. Why don't you move to the countryside first and see what happens then? It's this sense that we always gotta have everything figured out first with our planning and strategies before stepping foot. And what happens is, we discount all the infinite help and resources that the universe can potentially give us when we are out there. But obviously, we would never know that unless we take that first step. Because having done such meticulous planning in our head and going over it over and over again, oftentimes we feel that the best course of action is just to stay put wherever we are, where we feel most comfortable and safest. And it's like we are living inside our head and never really getting out of it to taste reality as it is. Alright, enough about heads, video games, fantasy characters. These self-limiting beliefs are very real and common among people. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm too old for that, or too young, I don't have enough time, I have a family to raise. And these things are sort of preventing us from living the life we want to live and doing what we want to do. But where do these beliefs come from? Who creates these self-limiting thoughts? Well, over the past few years, I've been doing some research on spirituality and the ego, and basically it's the ego that's always in this perpetual self-preservation mode and always thinking about self-survival and protecting this mind-body complex, especially when it encounters a new and unknown situation. Which is all well and good, we need to protect ourselves from certain dangers, but oftentimes we already have our basic needs figured out, and yet we still let our ego hold us back. And this is where the trouble begins. Often we are trapped in this devilish loop of doomsday scenarios of what's about to happen when we choose to live in a different way. Like, I will be broke, sleep on the sidewalks, eat from the garbage cans if I quit my job, and I will be alone and die alone if I get a divorce. No, 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 no. In theory, sure, you could be broke, sleep on the streets, and die alone. But most of the time, that's your ego's defense mechanism again. And when it's acting up, you're basically preventing new doors of possibilities from opening. The new job opportunities, a more thoughtful and understanding spouse, the countryside that gives you more peace and freedom than big cities. You're just closing all these doors and basically saying no to these possibilities. No! And there's no better representation of this than the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. There's something special about this book. Like, having read it, I felt like I found that spark of being alive again. One of the things that struck me was this quote: "When you want something in life, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." But you see, that's not a fantasy head talking. This is real. The universe does conspire in helping you to achieve what you desire, if you have faith in it. I don't want to spoil the book too much, but the main storyline is there's this young man who has a big dream of traveling and seeing other places of the world. At first, he was afraid of the whole idea of going to unfamiliar places, meeting different kinds of people, not knowing exactly how to survive. Frankly, like any normal person would. But eventually, he gathered his courage and went on his journey. And the interesting thing is, the new people and the new situations he was once afraid of so much turn out to be exactly the things that he needs to achieve his goal. These encounters, one after another, sort of gave him the wisdom to push on despite the many difficulties. As if it is fate that kinda leads him on towards that thing he desires. And this is also what I realized in my own life. Like, for some reasons, I don't really regret much about the past, and I just keep marching on to the beat of my life decisions and choices. It's like I have this deep sense of either way I go, there will be suffering anyway. Why worry so much then? If it goes well, great. If it backfires, then it's like a great life lesson to have. And this is kind of weird, but I like to imagine the failures of my life as these battle stories that otherwise I wouldn't have had the pleasure of sharing with the people I care about. Back in the day, well, that's just me, I guess. Anyway, the moral story is, we will suffer either way. Either you suffer for the thing you really want, or you suffer from boredom of always staying put in one place your whole life. And the key is, whatever you need, the universe will supply. Perhaps the reason why some of you might feel like nothing's happening in life and you kinda stop moving and growing, maybe that's because you have stopped asking for more. And when you stop asking, the universe stops giving.